Hi there. Second part of 4.6. Okay. Finishing this equation and cut it off right in the middle of it. We want to see if this is a perfect square. So we have x and x. You're going to have minus minus. And then you're going to have factors of 49. The reason I have minus minus is this is a plus, which tells me they're both positive or they're both negative. This sign tells me they must be both negative. I'm going to go with 7 and 7. Okay? Check it outside, I'm going to get 7x, or negative 7x. Inside, I'm going to get minus 7x equals negative 14x. That's what I want. So that works. In other words, or another way this can be wrote is x minus 7 squared equals 25. Square root, x minus 7 equals, this is when they square root that's going to be 5, but don't forget your plus or minus from taking the square root. 5 plus 7 plus 7, you get x equals 7 plus or minus 5. If you plus it, you should get 12. 7 plus 5 is 12. 7 minus 5 should get me 2. And those are the two answers for this problem. Okay. Next one is completing the square. What value completes the square? For x to the second minus 10x. Justify your answer. Alright, so completing the square. There's this thing called, that is b over 2a and squared. That'll always get you a perfect square that you can add on to this. So in this case, you're going to get negative 10 over 2 squared. Simplify what's in the parentheses first. I'm going to get negative 5. Square that should equal 25. Because negative 5 times negative 5 should give me a positive. The other thing is, now if we have 6 over 2 in parentheses squared. Simplify what's in the parentheses first, because this would be a 6. So I put 6 up there, divided by 2. I'm going to get 3 squared. 3 times 3 is 9. There we go. We have x to the second plus 6x plus 9 equals 0. If you had to rewrite it, x to the second minus 10x plus 25. Okay. Alright, solving the equation by completing the square. What is going to take place here is rewriting the equation in the form of x to the second plus bx equals c. Do this, get all the terms with the variables on one side of the equation and the constant on the other. So anything with a variable is on one side, anything without a variable is on the other side. Divide all the terms of the equation by the coefficient of x to the second if it is not 1. Complete the square by adding b over 2 in a second to each side of the equation. Factor the trinomial, find the square root, solve for x. And this is what we just did on the last slide. And we're going to do the exact same thing on this next one. Alright, on this one, so first thing we got to do is we got to get all the terms on one side, or all the variables on one side, terms on the other. So it's going to give me minus 6 equal. We're going to divide everything by 3. We're going to get x to the second minus 4x equals negative 2 over here. Now we want to do that negative, or the b over 2 squared. My b is negative 4 over 2 squared. If I simplify this, I'm going to get negative 2. Negative 2 squared is going to give me 4. Plus 4. What do I do to one side? I must do the other. Alright, so we're at this point. Now let's factor this side if we can. Well, we're going to get x. Plus is going to tell me minus minus or plus plus. That's a minus. And being it's perfect squares, I'm going to go with 2. Alright, I can check myself. Outside's negative 2x. Inside's negative 2x. Add them together, I'm going to get negative 4x. Add this together, I'm going to get 2. Alright, this is x minus 2 squared equals 2. Square root both sides. Don't forget your plus or minus. Okay, I'm going to get x minus 2 equals plus or minus the square root of 2. Add 2 to both sides. That's going to make that gone. X equals 2 plus or minus the square root of 2. That is my answer. Okay, here we have something similar to that. The only thing is, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to minus x here, minus x. I'm going to minus 3, and I'm going to solve. I'm going to get 2x to the second minus 2x equals negative 6 over here. Okay, I'm going to divide by the coefficient. I'm going to get x to the second minus x equals, this should be a positive, and we're dividing by 2, so we're going to get 3. Do the b thing. B is negative 1 over 2. Okay. So when I do this, I'm going to end up getting squaring it, and this is going to be still negative 1/2 or 0.5. You square it, you're going to end up getting 1/4. Not a real big fan of this. Honestly, I would rather go back to this one right here. The only thing is it says get rid of your coefficient and make sure it's 1. I think you have to do it that way though. X to the second, because otherwise I'm breaking a rule. Okay. Negative 1. So this is going to be plus 1/4. Plus 1/4. That's going to factor in, get x plus 1/2. And x plus 1/2. This is going to give me 3.25. X to the second, or x plus 1/2 to the second equals 3.25. Square root both sides, square root both sides. You're going to end up with x plus 1/2 equals plus or minus the square root of 3 and 2/5 minus the 1/2 minus the 1/2. You end up with negative, or x equals negative 1/2 plus or minus the square root of 3.25. And that would be your answer. Okay. Writing in vertex form. Name the vertex and the y-intercept. We have done this time after time again. back up in this section. Alright, vertex. Okay, we have to find the vertex, which is negative b over 2a. Alright, negative b is negative 4 over 2a, which would be 2, which is negative 2. So there's my x. Alright, if you remember, the vertex is negative 6, and that's at 0, because the y-intercept is always going to be at c, which is right here. So this is my y-intercept. Okay, I got me negative 2 for my vertex. Okay, negative 2. We're going to plug that in. We're going to get y equals negative 2 squared plus 4 times negative 2 minus 6. It's going to give me negative 8 minus 6, 4. Y equals, we're going to get 4 minus 8, or 14. So y equals negative 10. So my vertex, my x value is that, negative 2. My y value is that, which is negative 10. There's my vertex. You would have to put this into vertex form, which is going to be, your vertex form is y equals a, parenthesis, x minus h, and then plus k. Okay. My vertex for my x value is a negative 2, which if I sub a negative 2 in there, I'm going to get x plus 2 squared. You have minus 10 because you're going to be down 10. A, there's no a in here, so this is where the a goes. It'd be 1, so that would be the equation for this one. Okay? Do we need to go over any more of that? I think you should be fine. Like I said, that's kind of a review. So I'll just give you your homework. There's your homework.